What is up, guys? My name is Vessi, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you everything you should be doing before clicking the play button in your RimWorld colony. With these 5 simple tips, I'm going to show you how you can get faster starts, leading to better colonies and a much more productive use of your very critical first day. But before we jump into the video, guys, I just wanted to say a massive thank you to everyone who's been tuning in to my RimWorld streams and supporting the channel overall. We're getting super close to 350 subscribers, so if you're enjoying the content, smash that subscribe button and help me hit that goal. And also hit that bell icon so you don't miss out on any of my future uploads or the next time I go live. But with all that, guys, let's get straight into the video. So with our colonists spawned in, we need to immediately hit the pause button before they go wandering around, because with tip number 1, we need to set their schedule. Setting your colony schedule is one of the biggest things newer RimWorld players tend to forget, and it can have a huge impact on both your colonist moods and productivity. Forgetting to set the schedules correctly can cause colonists to wander around, miss work time, or not work when you're needing them to. The first thing you need to do is check your colonist bio and see if they have any certain traits. We're looking for night owl or quick sleepers. Night owls want to be asleep between the hours of 1100 and 1800, or they will get a -10 mood debuff. If scheduled correctly, though, they get a +16 mood bonus, and that can be a massive bonus in the early game, especially when you don't want your only colonist wandering off having a mental breakdown. Quick Sleeper, on the other hand, allows colonists to sleep 3 hours less, basically, and that can be another massive gain. Having 3 hours extra to work or do whatever they need to do, recharge their batteries, but get some extra rec in. The ideal sleep schedule for the average colonist is going to be doing something like this. I like to always start off with just 1 hour of them doing anything, followed by some work, and then we want to do their final 4 hours of the day just being recreation. Now, if this person was a night owl, for example, we would basically just do the exact opposite, and we would do 11 through 18 would be their sleeping. We would do 1 hour of anything right there. Then we would do some work, and then their final 4 hours of the day as recreation. Then, like I said, if they're a quick sleeper, you can just knock off 3 hours of their sleep on either side of the day, basically, whatever you kind of want to do. But that is how you properly set your colonist sleep schedule. The next big thing that affects colonist mood and productivity is policies. Colonists can get major mood debuffs from wearing tattered clothing or eating foods that they should not be eating. To change this, the first thing we need to do is go down to our Assign button. Then we're going to hit Manage Apparel Policies, click the Anything button, and we're going to look for this top slider, and we're going to adjust it to where 51% to 100% is the only thing that our colonist can be wearing. What this does is it prevents our colonist from wearing any clothes that drop below the 51% durability. And the reason we do this is because clothing drops exponentially in price once it drops below that 51% durability. Now, the next major thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to turn off wearing tainted apparel. We don't want our colonists wearing dead people's clothes. It upsets them quite a lot, and we don't really want them picking it up either, since it doesn't allow you to resell tainted clothes. So, the next thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to go down to Manage Food Policies and hit Lavish. We want to remove the ability for our colonists to eat rotten food, because obviously we don't want them eating anything that's rotten, or it will make them sick. We also don't want them eating any human meat. Now, depending on what your ideology is, you can actually eat human meat, or some colonists are able to eat human meat because they're a cannibal. The next thing we want to do is we want to remove the ability for them to eat raw food, and then we're going to hit this little drop down arrow over here, and we're going to want to allow them to eat berries. In the early game especially, eating berries can be a lifesaver, so we don't want them to miss out on any of those. Next thing we want to do is we want to remove the ability for them to eat any hay or kibble. Kind of self-explanatory. We want to save the hay for the floors or the animals, and we want to save the kibble definitely for taming animals. You can actually eat kibble in a pinch from what I understand, but I'm not going to get into that in this video. Next thing, remove the ability for them to eat raw resources, and you want to remove the ability for them to eat corpses. But with that, we've got our policies out of the way. Tip number 3 is going to be managing your colonist health. While we still have this menu open, go down to the bottom left corner and hit the medicine icon. We're going to select herbal medicine or worse. This helps preserve your good medicine for emergencies. Then, depending on who your best doctor is, you're going to click on this one, select herbal medicine, and hit the carry button, hit the number 3 so they select 3 medicine and they'll hold it in their inventory. Now, what this does, it allows your doctor to carry around medicine and help use it in life-saving emergencies and stuff. But over here, this is basically going to say, hey, we don't want our colonist getting any of the really good medicine unless it's an emergency. But if it is an emergency, immediately just hit that button and it'll use whatever the best is that you can use. Only do that in a life-threatening emergency, though. Herbal medicine is good for pretty much any of the minor scrapes and bruises that your colonist might get in a day-to-day stuff. Now, go to your doctor, though, and you're going to want to hit the self-tend button. This allows the doctor to actually work on themselves. If they don't, they might not get healed. Tip number 4 is going to be setting our colonist to manual priorities. To do that, we need to go down to our little work tab and check this little box here. What this does is it changes all of these little check marks to numbers. Now, in the basic RimWorld experience, how it decides what your colonist is going to do is it goes from left to right on here as highest priority, lowest priority. Basically, firefighting is the number 1 thing. Being a patient or basically going to the doctor to get treatment is number 2, or being a doctor is number 3, so on, so on, so on. What manual priority does is it allows us to actually override these things. Now, if you set this to a 1, that's still now going to be the number 1 thing they're going to want to do. You set this to a number 1, that's going to still be the number 2 thing they want to do because this is a higher priority than that. Now, this is a little bit finicky, but once you master how this is actually working, it can be your best friend and allows you to set your colonist at a great pace and they can be super productive. I'm not going to get into the full nitty-gritty of this in this video, but if you guys want me to explain this, drop a little comment and I can actually go on a full tangent about this and we can see what all stuff we can find. But what I always kind of like to do is I like to set my patient to 1. I know I always like to do my bed rest at a 2, especially if this is my only colonist, especially in my naked brutality runs. What that does is they're not cooped up in bed or trying to recover from injuries all the time unless there's just nothing else to do. I don't really ever set anything below a 2 or a 3. Always kind of like to have my hunting at a 4. I have my research kind of like at a 3. Have my cleaning at like a 3. Hauling, I like to have it like a 2. Depending on what the person's good at, you may have it as 0 or you might have it as a 4 if like you have nobody else to do it, in my example. Before we get into tip number 5 though, guys, if you're enjoying the content, make sure you hit that like button. It helps the channel grow, gets the video out there to more people, and shows me that you're enjoying the content and makes me want to make more content like this, guys. But with that out of the way, guys, let's get into tip number 5, and that's going to be setting our stockpile and grow zones. To do that, we're going to hit the architect button, click zone, go to stockpile zone, and then we're going to want to select a good location, ideally next to one of those little green fields down there, since we're going to be using those here in a second. Make a little 9x9 grid, and then we're going to want to hit the escape button, and then come back over, click on our stockpile, and hit the storage button. What this is going to do is it's going to allow us to manually set what can go in and out of the storage. The first thing we want to do is we want to disallow rotten items from being in there. Then we're going to want to enable plants, basically allowing stuff like rice, berries, and etc. To be stored in there. We're also going to want to go ahead and allow or disallow, let me rephrase that, human corpses, but we want to allow animal and mechanoid corpses since we won't have like a freezer or anything to store those kind of things in, and we'll want to hold on to those. But we won't want any like rotten animals that had like scaria or whatever it's called in there. The next thing we want to do is we want to set up another stockpile zone, ideally kind of behind like a little mountain, like in this situation, over here or something. This is going to be like our little corpse and chunk storage, and how we set that up is we're going to do clear all. I like to kind of set this one as the preferred storage, which is a little bit higher priority than our main storage. Then we want to select chunks, corpses, allow rot and allow fresh. That's already auto selected. And we can go ahead and allow all of that. But with that, guys, we're going to go ahead and move down here, hit architect one more time, and we're going to make a little grow zone. Now, to make this easier so that you guys can see where the little rich soil plots are, you can go down into the bottom right corner and you can toggle the fertility overlay. And this is going to show you where all of the big little, well, I say little, but the big rich soil plots are. Now, a good rule of thumb is you need about 30 to 40 tiles worth of crops to support one colonist of at least rice, which is what we're going to be planting. And how you select what kind of crop you want to plant is you just select the growing zone. Then you're going to want to click down here on the plant icon, and then you want to find rice, and that will set your colonist to grow rice. But with that, guys, we've come to the end of the video. If you guys enjoyed this, make sure you hit that subscribe button or hit the like button. It really helps me out and helps grow the channel. I've been streaming a lot of RimWorld recently, so come check me out over there and say hi. If you guys have any video ideas, drop a comment and let me know. I try and respond to all my comments across any of my videos, so go check out some of my other videos if you enjoyed this one. But with that, guys, my name is Vessi, and I will see you in the next one.